But do you know what time it is now?
Yes, I do.
Dungeon debate.
Yes. So the dungeon debate is in-person play, which is what Ethan will be representing, versus virtual play. Which is the better way of playing? What?
The fact that you just said that makes all of our listeners and viewers just freaking cringe.
Yeah.
They're like, ugh, what did this fool just say? Like, literally just makes them vomit in their mouth.
So
you are delusional for thinking this. Like, you're like the aboleths. You are delusional.
Yes, I will admit I play virtual most of the time. And so I have a perspective that I will share in defense of virtual play.
I play in person most of the time.
I know.
And I played both. And I will say in person, honkers. Way better. Way better than this
Obviously,
virtual.
it depends, but let's get into it. So, do you want to tell me why?
Well, that's how the game was originally supposed to be made. You know, you're supposed to be meeting your person. You know, like, they want you to go out and be in physical presence with your friends.
Well, they want you to have human interaction, which you can have virtually.
No, it's not the same.
You're talking to your friends?
That's not the same, though. Maybe you're like, hey, guys, let's just go up and, like, do something fun. You know, you want to pat your friend when he killed the dragon. You're like, good job, buddy.
Would you say the phone was a good invention? Or do you think we should still be writing letters?
Okay, I'm not
going to... Or actually, not even letters, just finding each other to communicate.
Okay, that's completely different. I'm not going to be...
What I'm saying is the original way something works can be improved through technology.
But in this case, there's pros and cons in both. But in this one, it's a lot better because it's a lot easier to play the game, number one. It's a hell of a lot easier to play.
I actually will challenge that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, what parts of the game are easier in person?
Number one, you actually can have a battle map. So that's a big one.
Oh, you can totally have a battle map in virtual.
It's hell hard to set up. It's horrible to set up.
Well, when
I tried to set up, it's awful. You gotta spend so much time and effort into it. Plus,
what, for a virtual battle map?
Yes, it's horrible.
Okay, well, listen. So at some point, I'm going to share what I do for virtual because I think it's a pretty good setup, and you've played in it. But you can totally set up a battle map. They can be better battle maps than in person because in person, sure, you can have like this very elaborately built battle map with like buildings and like
which is sick,
expensive stuff, which is really cool. It takes forever though. It takes a lot of planning and it's really expensive.
Does
and
it you just use forever though?
It takes a while. It doesn't take nearly as long as
online.
So online though, you can have battle maps that are extremely high tech, and by this I mean they have great lighting. So like they can like the lamps can flicker. And, like, when you're, like, shadows can be produced. Like, these are high-tech maps.
But they're one-dimensional, though.
They're one-dimensional, so that's the bad part, I guess. But there's so many pros to it. Not only can it look amazing, but it can show up as you walk through it, right? So it's not like just this giant board that you're walking through and you know where all the rooms are. Your players can be completely not knowing where they're going to end up.
Well,
right?
I mean, you're probably talking about, like, Roll20. Or not Roll20, what's it called?
There's lots of different...
You have to pay for it, though.
There's lots of different ways you can do this. There's lots of different ways you can do this. Some of them pay money, but not nearly as much as you'd have to spend to set up a big battle map every time.
Well, one's a subscription, so you pay monthly for freaking forever.
You know? No, but imagine sets. Like sets are really expensive, and then you use it. What, you're going to just use it again next session? No, you need a new set, right?
Sets? Not necessarily. If you get like a set for like a dungeon set, so you have like walls or a ceiling, you can just keep reusing it. So you only buy it that one.
But what if you want to go to like a desert tomb and all the walls are gray? It's like, okay, well, great.
Then paint them, god dang it.
So you're going to paint them every time? No.
Yeah, hell yeah!
But they don't have to be these crazy high-tech battle maps. If you just want the basic grid and you draw on it, you can do that. You can have a dry erase board and put that up virtually.
Well, but the dry erase board is hard to visualize, like, everything that's going on. Because, a big part of D&D, that why people like D&D, is, like, the physical minis and that stuff like that. Like, they, like, people have hobbies of painting, like, the
Yes,
The minis.
that is what you
Which
lose
is
with virtual.
Like, you lose the virtual with the minis.
But I think the pros you gain with virtual are way more than just having minis.
It's not as good. Well, also a giant thing with the virtual. What happens if someone's internet is awful? So literally, you have to worry about your communication.
Yes.
The DM might lag. He's like, which kind of ruins the pacing and kind of ruins the vibe of the game. When you're trying to act something scary, you're like, yes, this creepy person.
Yes. So
Lag,
you have to
lag,
make sure
lag.
your internet's good. But the same type of thing could be said for in person. Like, what if someone's sick? You can't play.
If you're sick on virtual, then why are you playing?
You can, because you're not going to get anyone else sick. You can play. Let's get into more good things about virtual. So, one, you can not only you can play if you're sick, you can play with anyone wherever they are and wherever you are. So, like, you don't need to be anywhere near people, and that's powerful because
That is very powerful.
when you have, it's very hard to find people sometimes to play with you. Even if you have friends, these friends don't necessarily like D&D as much as you, and they don't necessarily have very much time to play, right? And they may not like it at all, right? But when you play virtually, and also they may not be anywhere near you. Like if you're in college, they could be at a different college. You could be, if you're older than that, they could be in a different country, right? But with virtual, you're able to play with them and interact with them and have fun with them, and there's no need to come to the same place, right? Not only that, but virtual play is quick and easy. And for me, who is very busy, like I'm very, very busy, and I love to play D&D, but like I just don't have a lot of time, I'm able to play more when I play virtual, because virtual, I just hop on the computer and I don't have to spend any time traveling somewhere. I don't need to set things up too much. Like I don't need to have a free room set up. I can just sit down on my computer and turn on my camera, use my notes on my computer, have my whiteboard next to me that I put my camera on, and play, right? It's so easy.
Well, yeah, that is easy, and like I understand, like you could meet anyone you want, but it's the game is just not the same.
It's not the same, but I think it's better in a lot of ways.
I don't think it's better because you can make the game. You can't make the game better on virtual. It's easier to set up.
Let me tell you how.
I don't agree with that. You can make the game.
I haven't said it yet.
Whatever you're gonna say, the in person's gonna be better.
Wait, you're not open to changing your mind?
What?
That's normal for debates. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, human qualities. We love humans, guys.
Humans.
But what I'm saying is, you can make the game a lot more alive in person than on virtual. 100%. You can cook the foods that the tavern has. You can make up you can make the total awesome room.
It's a lot of work, but sure.
A lot of work, my butt.
That is a ton of... You're going to cook an entire meal for this session?
Heck yeah! It makes it so much better!
No, I mean, that's awesome, but that's not realistic a lot of times.
If you have the time, though,
I don't have enough time to cook myself lunch.
Well,
you
that's
think I'm
just
going to be cooking?
So we're not talking about just you. We're talking about everyone who has time,
Yeah.
But, what I'm saying is you can make it so much better. People have D&D rooms. Like, I've seen some crazy type of rooms.
They're awesome.
Exactly.
I would love to sit on my computer in that room and play virtually.
You deserve to die. Someone literally deserves to stand up. They leave. You're like, hey, where are they?
Do you watch Critical Role?
Yes, that's entertainment.
Yeah, but that's a virtual way of consuming D&D, and people love it.
Are they in person? Yes.
Yes, but we are not.
But
they are. We can still experience it.
But they are. If they were in virtual, it would not be the same. It would not be as good.
Maybe not.
That is true. That's facts.
That's a good point.
That's a
all right, but here is why...
That's a parry. That was a debate parry.
Okay.
You tried to strike. I was like, nah.
Yeah, well, I fainted, and then now here I'm coming in with the real hit. Oh. Okay, so this is where virtual is better, and this stuff I value very much. Maybe it's just me, but I really like this type of play, and so if you watch Critical Role, there was I'm not a huge... I don't watch a ton of anything, again, time, but... Rogue. There was a rogue fight, and the rogue was constantly having to text the DM what he wanted to do because he didn't want any other players to know where he was, all this stuff. It's hard in D&D to do certain things. These are the things. Secrets, perspective, and invisibility. So let me tell you. So obviously invisibility is pretty straightforward here. If you're virtual, you can literally just make someone invisible, right? Like you can just click invisible, now they're invisible, depending on the software you're using, or you could just take their piece off the map and no one can see it, stuff like that. So that's invisibility. So invisibility can be used very easily with virtual, which just allows
And in person.
more fun combat, I think. And no,
Yes.
in person it's really tough because
How is
it's
it
like,
tough?
okay, what do you do? Like player, what do you do? Or like you have bad guys that are invisible, right? How do you know where they are?
Well, no dip. They're invisible. That's the point.
No, but as the DM you need to know where they are. So how do you know?
I do that all the time. I set it up where I know where all the invisible guys will be.
Okay,
so,
let's
so
say
that's actually the DM's fault for not.
Let's say you're an invisible player. How do you keep track of where you are? And still play within the rules. You got to be fair.
Well, you have to take a mental like you have to know that's the square that.
But the
I
DM
am
needs
on.
to know.
Yes, the DM should know. Like,
But how does the DM? How do you tell the DM? How do you tell the DM?
You could still use a phone and text them.
That's
like,
super annoying. That's super annoying.
you literally just said start texting people on virtual.
No, not on virtual. No, on virtual you can just click invisibility, and now you can make something only visible to people you want it to be visible to, and then that person can move their stuff around, and no one can see them.
But then you could just be in person and say, hey, everyone put your heads down, and you can just move the person. And then you could take it off and you can remember where they placed it.
That's a good idea. Okay, let's get into ones that aren't so easy to fix. Secrets. So let's say you're all sitting around a table, right?
Yep.
It's hard for like people to have secrets. So let's say someone finds a secret note in like a tomb, right? Everyone else saw that they found it. Everyone's sitting there watching them play this game, right?
You tell everyone to put their heads down and you give them something. You
Their
give them
ears.
a letter.
Okay, I guess you can do that.
Because
but it doesn't work as well. And
I know what you're talking about.
Perspective is a big one. Like, let's say the party splits and they both are learning new things. It's really fun for virtually to like shut off half the players, and they can go talk while these people do their thing.
But you just shut them off.
No, yeah, but it's fine. Like they chose to split the party. One side is now learning their own unique information. The other side is learning their own unique information, and then when they come back, it's like a genuine like sharing of knowledge.
You could do the same thing. You can just hey, you two people, get out of the room.
That's so much more work, and
How
like it does.
getting
No,
up
but
and
you
walking
can
is more work.
No, on virtual, you
lazy bum.
just deafen them. You just say
Deafen them.
You just say, okay, no one would know this except you. I deafen these three. Okay, this is the information you got. Undeafen. Done. We're back.
Are you actually saying getting up and walking is too much work?
Ethan, you have played it. It's much easier. When we play outside or like on a table, you cannot have secrets. Everyone is watching you play. It doesn't happen.
Well, no, you can still have secrets. There are just ways of
No
doing
one
it.
goes and leaves the room. It just
We
doesn't
have
happen.
I have done that before.
No,
Yes,
it's
it is very
you can,
simple.
No, you can do it if it's super important. But like a lot of times, you guys are just learning things naturally, and it makes the interactions between players more natural when everything they do that is only them is only them. But when you play at a table, it's way too much work for every little thing that someone does on their own to be on their own. No, that's way too much work. But on virtual, it's like deafen. Okay, go.
Well, but then that ruins the pace for everyone else because they have to wait. They have to talk about stuff. They can't. Just
I have
stay
talked
in
with
the
my
world.
players, and they love to talk, and that's their time to like share information or strategize their next move, stuff like that.
That's metagaming, and they're cheating.
That's not cheating.
That is cheating. That's metagaming.
It's fine. You have to work with the system you have, and with virtual, you have to play differently. So if you want to play how you're playing in person, it's not going to be as good. But you have to play a different style when you're virtual, and that style allows you to do different things. It allows you to keep perspective of your characters better, to give them their own perspective and learn their own stuff, to keep their own secrets, and allows them to be invisible, to learn their own stuff, everything I just said. But in person, it's just not how you play in person. Everyone gets to watch everyone else. And maybe you like that better, but it's not... When it comes to story, I find it much more interesting when people have these secrets that they may or may not tell someone. Like basically, I remember the moment when you were all playing and the whole party was negotiating with this tiefling that it was a contentious like negotiation. It was like combat's about to ensue, perhaps, and this high perception, one of the characters was the only one to perceive something. And so I deafened everyone. I told him and I said, all right, this is what you saw. We're back. And then that guy, he turns into a jackal and attacks the tiefling woman. And all the other players are like, what the heck are you doing?
You could still do all of that stuff.
No, because it's a second of like...
You're saying it is a lot simpler, but you can still do all of that stuff in person.
No one does it, and it would be so
I
annoying.
have done it so many times.
No, you have not.
Yes, I have.
No, you tell people what they perceive every single time only to them? No. Because I see you play, and no one leaves. You don't have just 5 people walking inside.
But in those situations, I'm not in, like, that setting where, like, they're perceived. But you can still do simple ways. Like,
no, I'm talking about every single time it happens.
No, but those are the only 3 things, even if they are better, which, well, I will agree they are. Those are the only 3 things that are better about virtual. Everything else is freaking dog crap to, like, physical stuff.
Like what?
Playing D&D physically is a lot more engaging and a lot more fun. It's so much way easier to get bored on virtual. I have gotten bored many times. It's hard because when you're in person as a DM, you get to act better. You get to, like, see everybody's, I guess, like, body language. I guess I'm explaining this horribly. But, like, you get to build the world, make the game a lot more fun, which I think is way more important than all these, like, yeah, it's cool, you can shut everyone up and they can't hear anything. You can tell, that might be a cool reaction. But, like, just in the general aspects of the game, it's not as good. Because, you can use, like, all the books in person. You can, like, give information. You can talk in, like, a table. And it's a lot socially better to talk someone in person than on the phone, right? Everyone hates online school. Everyone likes being in person better.
I love online school.
I hate it.
Online school is so much better. I teach myself everything anyway.
People literally...
No offense, teachers. I just do. That's how I learn.
Most people, besides you weird monkeys, like to be in person better, right? Because it just makes the game... Because that's what the game was intended for. The game was literally... that no one really thought about it virtually until COVID hit, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we've learned how awesome virtual stuff is. Like, people no longer they refuse to go back to their jobs because they're like, I'm fully capable of doing my jobs here in my home. You cannot make me go back, and I will quit before I go back.
A job is different from D&D.
I think.
Like, I would love to be on an online job.
I think when you play in person, there are a lot of benefits, and you've talked about them.
There's a lot more benefits than the virtual.
But when it comes to which one is better overall, I think it's more realistic virtually because you shouldn't just be playing D&D your whole life. I love D&D, but there's so much time you need to put in, and I think if you play virtually, you're able to spend more time playing and less time with all these extraneous time consumers, like going places, setting things up. Well, although you may like it in the moment, it's less. You're just less able to do it. You won't get to play as much because you don't have the time to go over there. So basically,
you're arguing quantity over quality, basically.
I guess you could say that.
So it's really dependent on
I think the quality is good enough to warrant, like, do I get to... Because, like, people have jobs, right? People don't make money playing D&D. Like, this is their downtime, and people don't have time to really play for so long, so many times. You have to really be committed to your hobby to play D&D in person on a consistent basis.
I mean, you don't have to be super committed. You can say, like, one day of the week, we just go and meet somewhere.
But one day a week is a lot. And it's still
good to get out of the house and not just be stuck on a computer. Sorry, I'm being like a parent. But, it's good to go out and meet with your friends. So it doesn't take so much time out of your day. Unless you just want to make the quality so freaking good. Like, for example, I make little potions, like glass potions that you physically drink. Makes the game 100% freaking awesome. You can do stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
I made people squeal when I put vinegar, soy sauce, and Gatorade in a bottle. Made them drink it. Made me smile with delight. It was amazing. Or, like, for example, you've done this in person. We started D&D in person.
I know.
And that was super fun. I liked it better than what we're doing online, personally. But, that's just me. But, you could just make... The game was supposed to be in person. And the online is very, very handy. I will agree with that. And, still really online still has its qualities, but I think the game was just made for in person, and you can do
Yeah.
so much more. In like the quality of the game could be so much more because you can't be like, yeah, you get a potion.
No,
It's
I
like,
get what you're saying.
okay,
Yeah,
but like it's just like you can act better, you can dress up, you can be like it. It just it paints the world better in the in person than better than online.
Yeah, and
That's my final statement.
Okay,
I dropped
and
the
my
mic.
final thing, real quick, is that playing in person is great, but I think there's a risk in that you may never get to do it. I think a lot of people, it's just such a big commitment, and I think virtual is amazing in the fact that it allows you to sit down, play for a few hours, and then be done, and do the things
But
you
we're
need to
talking
do.
about what makes the game better.
We're talking about what is better. And so what would you rather do? Play virtually or play never because the other option is just too time
Well,
consuming?
no, it's not super time.
Okay,
consuming.
that's just my argument. You gave your argument, we heard it.
That's a dumb one.
Let's let them decide.
That's a dumb one.
Well, let's see.
Be better, guys. Be the bear. Be better. Yeah. But yes,
For all you busy people out there, I understand.
busy.
Flood the comments saying the owl's correct here. All right. So yeah, listeners, you guys decide. Hit us up wherever you can find us on who you think is right in this debate, virtual or in person, and we will see you in the next episode.
I'll see you guys later. This is the bear signing off.
Yes, I will as well.
That was pathetic.
Okay, this is the owl sounding.
There we go.
Signing off.
Yeah.